estate investors. I'm here again, and I'm here to. I had a live session with someone, a responsible person, and that was a few months ago. And I've been having a lot of inquiries. So today I'm going to be talking, about land, titles, and the need to verify before purchase. Yesterday I was talking about shortlets rentals in Lagos. So before we go quickly into that, I will just quickly, round off what I was talking about yesterday, and then we'll talk about land titles in Lagos. And in case you are seeing this particular live stream, this is King's Cost Property, and this is where we discuss everything real estate. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and I also want to give you, this assurance that you are going to have the best of the best. That one is very, very important, and I'm also going to respond to some of the inquiries I had. So please, if you're seeing this video, do well to subscribe to this channel. Please double click on this video, like this video, and of course you can share it with some of your investors. More importantly, Nigerians who are in Nigeria and Nigerians who are also, in diaspora. More importantly, those who will be eagerly who will be interested, okay, in buying or investing in real estate in Lagos, Nigeria. So do well to just share this video and then give us a thumbs like. So I will be starting this video. Of course, I tried to be brief yesterday, and I'm glad that I worked with time. So talking about land titles in Lagos, something happened in on Sunday's Ednot's post. That was around, I don't know, I just saw the video recently, and that is what actually, prompts this live stream, and that's the reason why we'll be talking about land titles. I also shared some important updates with some real estate investors, more importantly those who have been, investing in Lagos. So but before I go into that quickly, I would quickly like to, round off our analysis on shortlets. I was talking about how the shortlet market works in Lagos. I gave instances of location. I talked about management. I also talked about security. I gave instance of course a functional shortlet company in Lagos, Nigeria, and I have been studying a lot of that. And of course I call. Sorry for that. So let's quickly go into the details. But before I go further, I'll continue with this broadcast. Okay, if we have more people join us. For now, we don't have anybody online, so I'll have, if we have like 3 or 4 people join us, we'll start, and then hopefully other people will also join us as well. Okay, so talking about land titles in Lagos, Nigeria, the important need for proper documentation. I have a video where I'm going to be explaining elaborately on this. Of course, I'm here to record the video. I'll record it, and I would also post it here so that you can learn. And the reason why we'll be doing that basically is due to the fact that a lot of things have been happening, and people are having, different perception about owning landed properties in Lagos, and many people are investing. Please, sorry, I just want to quickly share this broadcast with some people. Okay, so I'm going live. I'm live already, so I'll be starting the video proper. If we just have like 5 people join this live stream, so I will just have like 5 people join this live stream, And okay, I think people are joining already. Thank you. In case you're coming across this video, this is property matters on King's Court TV here on YouTube, and we discuss everything that has to do with real estate investment in Lagos, Nigeria. So please, in case you are seeing us for the first time, we want to be in charge of your real estate investment in any part of Lagos, whether it is landed property or any form of investment. We definitely want to be your number one guide, and we can't wait to to have you with us. Okay, thank you very much. I have one person joining. Okay, so we have one person joining. Okay, we are still going to continue. If you have more people join us, land documentation, land titles. What exactly do we mean, or at what stage is our real estate investment safe? At what stage am I not going to have issues with demolitions? What exactly do I need to know about the needed, approvals that Lagos State government is demanding for? What are the basic, things that I need to do? These are what I consider to be fundamental questions that everybody, every real estate investors must pay attention to, regardless of the fact, because you see, we are in a state whereby there is enforcement. There is enforcement of regulations, and sometimes when these enforcements, are made, people who don't have, accurate knowledge of what is actually going on are giving a wrong interpretation of this. And the reason why we're doing this basically is due to the fact that it's still quite unfortunate that people are still doing, are still investing without understanding some of these basic parameters, some of these basic things. And let's just quickly talk about the fundamental things and what you need to do. Thank you very much, my boss, Barrister Jose. Thank you for joining. I hail you, sir. Thank you for joining. Oh, this my little brother is also live, and that's Benga. Okari, well done. Thank you for joining. All right, so we have many people joining now. We'll start in essence. Thank you. Thank you. So let's just quickly talk about this. So, like I was saying, okay, of course, I'll acknowledge everybody that is joining us live. Thank you very much. Of course, you can like this video, you can share it, because we are going to be explaining some of those things. Now, the reason why I'll be talking about, of course, I had episodes and series I've done on land titles on my channel, on my social media. For those who follow us on Instagram, of course, we have lengthy videos where we've talked about this. And for those who are following us on YouTube as well, you will attest to the fact that we've been talking essentially on land documentation, and you will also attest to the fact that we pay attention to some important things when it comes to land documentation. And actually, I went to check a particular acre of land for a diasporan who wanted to go into agric, and of course, our decision basically was to start plantain and of course palm oil production. And she said we should go and verify for her. And of course, we've always been doing that for a very long time, and of course we are still doing that. Okay, so in case you want us to also help you verify, we are readily available. So I'll be going live also on Instagram, so I can have the entire community listen to this amazing thing. For those who have joined, I appreciate. Thank you very much. I don't take this for granted. This is appreciated. So I'm going live on Instagram right now. So Instagram live. Okay, I think I am live on Instagram as well. All right, I'm live on Instagram as well. All right, so like I was saying, I said we had a lot of issues. So when we go to the said sites, the first thing that happened basically was that thank you very much. In case you are joining us, do well to share this particular video. So I'm talking about understanding land titles understanding the basic things you need to know when you are investing in Lagos. I'm also going to be talking about at what stage can government take up complete possession of your land. What are those certain conditions that may warrant that your property be demolished? These are certain questions that I've received from real estate investors, and a lot of people basically still don't understand that land titles are very, very important. But before I go further, I want to appreciate everybody that is on this live session. I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much. And of course, in the course of this conversation, if you have questions, if you have inquiries, you can drop it on this comment section. Let us interact. And of course, we're also going to learn. Of course, I have some of my ogas on site also, and of course online also. So let's quickly go into that. Let's talk about land documentation. Now, when we talk about land documentation basically talks extensively on the the document or the title that we have on a property. Now, a lot of people have reached out to me, and from my interaction, I found out that many people don't seem to understand what land documents are. So I'm going to quickly explain that. Now, I've seen a lot of people asking that is a registered survey a land title? Is a registered deed a land title? Is excision in process a land title? I've had several interactions with real estate investors, and a lot of people have been and also at the same time asking on these basic things. So let's we look at this now. Basically, the recognized land titles that we have in Lagos State, I'm going to outline them and I'm going to explain what they mean one after the other. So if you have your pen and you want to take note of this, you can do that. Although I have a video on my channel, also on my Instagram and my Facebook, where I've talked about this. So for the sake of really most of my diasporan investors who may not be aware of some of these things, I'm just going to quickly talk about this. I'm not in the office. I'm shooting this video at home because I just finished an inspection very close to Ibejuleki, so I could not drive down to the office. So I'm going to be shooting this video. Of course, we'll be having some of our videos here. Now, land titles are excision, land titles are gazette, land titles are C of O's, land titles are governor's consent, land titles are government allocation. So these are the basic land titles that is recognized under the Lagos State Land Use Act. So a lot of people have been asking what exactly are land titles, what are the basic things that we need to do, and what are the basic things. So these are basically the important land titles that you need to know if you're investing in real estate. So what is an excision? An excision is a document that shows that government have actually given some parcels of land, okay, to a particular community, okay. And excision basically moves from being an excision into a gazette if that document has been registered. And a lot of people have been asking questions that at what stage, okay, is excision important, at what stage are some of these things, and what are those basic things that we need to understand. So I'll be explaining some of these things very quickly so that we can have a thorough understanding of what this thing has. So an excision that is recorded in a file, okay, in a publication, now becomes a gazetted excision. So sometimes it is very important that we notice that an excision becomes a gazette when it is recorded in a document. For some of the surveyors that I've worked with, if they want to check a gazette, all they just need to know is look at the date at which the gazette was signed, and of course the volume and the document it was registered upon. So it becomes a gazette. Meanwhile, of course, a C of O is a certificate of occupancy that is being given, and of course it has an expiry date of 99 years. And of course, upon 99 years, okay, the C of O is subject, okay, to renewal after 99 years. That is what you need to know about a C of O. While a government allocation is a document that shows that this particular land, okay, has been given to maybe individuals or company. And of course, in most cases, they would say that a government allocation is issued if you are buying the land directly, from the government. So these are the basic things that you need to know. So government allocation is when you're buying from government directly, they give you an allocation, and it is also recorded with them that this so number of land has been given, and of course it has also been issued. So these are the basic things that we need to understand about that. Now, a governor's consent is a title, or I'll say basically a governor's consent is like a deed that is registered. Now, a lot of people have overflogged, the importance of governor's consent, and it's quite, unfortunate that a lot of people have also misinterpreted what governor's consent is. Basically, is that if I buy a land that has a C of O and I want that C of O registered in my name. Now, simply because a C of O document cannot be issued twice, all I need to do basically is to take my deed, the evidence of purchase, and one or two documents to the Lagos State Ministry of Lands showing evidence of payment. And once the deed that I got, okay, from the sale of that, or the deed that was present between the lawyer, of course, between me and the lawyer, once I take it to Alausa, the moment the deed is signed, the C of O becomes so a governor's consent is like a signed deed of assignment. So that is the basic things, and that's obviously the difference between a C of O, a governor's consent, and a government allocation. Now, basically, a lot of people have raised this kind of conversation on which one is better, which one is more heavier, which one is more weightier, which one is even safer. I've had interactions like that, and a lot of people have asked several times that which one should I do. Now, the basic thing basically is that if you're buying a land in Lagos, you should know very well that Lagos state government pay adequate attention to property documentation. That's the first thing I want you to understand as an investor. Government pays adequate attention to documentation, and that's why sometimes if you are buying real estate, I mostly always emphasized on the need, okay, to buy from a developer that prioritize documentation, perfecting the document, the title document. Now, for some of the people that have been asking me, what about excision? Does that mean excision is more weightier than C of O? Does that mean excision is more this than that? Now, the reason why basically I usually advise people, okay, to perfect whichever land titles they have further is there was a scenario of what happened in the boogie axis of Ibejuleki. And the reason why I'm having this live broadcast is to address the situation and also to advise real estate investors. There's this a diasporan investor that bought a large expanse of land, and the land has excision, okay, the land is excised, and this particular person has built, I think, 4 floors of 2-bedroom apartments on the property. Now, out of nowhere, somebody came claiming to be the son of the person that sold the property. And according to our investigation, we found out that the person that owns that property is late. I think the man, according to information, we were told that the man died in 2008 and he sold the property before he died. And some of the families claim not to be aware of that transaction. Now, the situation got a little bit, if I even use the word a little, the situation became a total mess that we had to take the case to the police station. We were referred to Zone 4. Then our lawyer advised us to take it up in court. And till today, okay, the the case is still in court and it's been from one case of adjournment. Now this situation, this unwanted situation would have been avoided, okay, if the person that bought the property has perfected his title. Now when you buy a landed property, you need to understand basically that Lagos state government acknowledges the person whose name is on the title as the actual owner of that property. I'm going to say it again. I've said this in several of my subsequent videos. I've explained to several people that if you're doing real estate in Lagos, you need to understand some of the basic parameters so that you will not be making mistakes. Now, if you are buying properties, okay, government acknowledges the persons whose name is on the title as the actual owner of that property, whether it is excision that is there, whether it is gazette that is there, whether it is C of O, or whether it's even governor's consent. So what you are expected to do, okay, as an investor who has bought that property, is that the moment you bought that property, you are supposed to do a deed of assignment and process your governor's consent to notify government that I have bought this property from this so person. Okay, the moment you, even if the governor's consent is not, at the moment you have lodged that governor's consent, you have and it's eventually signed, it doesn't matter who comes after several years of purchase, okay, that obviously nullifies any future claim of somebody who may want to take possession, in as much as fact that you have signed that deed of assignment. So a lot of people have asked me, the person I bought from gave me a deed of assignment. Yes, a deed of assignment is a legal documentation that thoroughly shows that the interest of a property has been transferred to a new owner. Now, but you should not just stop there. You should ensure that that deed is registered. Ensure that that deed is registered, that allows her to notify government that this person has sold. Now the situation would have been averted if the owner has done this. And a lot of one of the issues, one of the basic challenges that most people have about land documentation, or the reason why most real estate investors have this problem basically, is that the person advising them on real estate does not pay attention to some of these things. So we have a lot of land disputes simply because of the fact, the funny thing basically is that the omonile, or the person that is selling that land to you, are fully aware of the fact that, in as much as fact that the deed of assignment has not been registered with government, they can still come and if you take the case to Alausa and they run a survey on a check on that property, and they found out that you have not registered your deed. Registering your deed is to notify government that this person has sold to me. And these are some of the things that you need to do if you are investing and buying properties in Lagos. So these are the basic land titles that So, and if you have bought, it is very important that you go further, okay, to perfect and make sure that your deed is registered. Now, someone asked me a question: how much does it take, to register your deed of assignment? How much is government asking for? Well, I honestly cannot give a figure of what is being charged, but the basic thing basically I can say is that if you can get a lawyer, and that's why sometimes I've always said this, that buying real estate in Lagos, you need to get some professionals. Some people have to be aware of your transaction. It is very important, because you see, Lagos State is an area of interest. Everybody wants to own properties in Lagos. Everybody wants to own real estate in Lagos. And it is quite, unfortunate that many people don't understand, the basic requirement of how to do a trouble-free or a trouble-free real estate transaction. And these are some of the most important things, that you must do, that you must understand if you're buying real estate in Lagos, Nigeria. So these are, the basic, things that you need to know if you are doing real estate investors, of course, real estate investment in Lagos. So these are the basic things. Now, a lot of someone asked me, what are the basic requirements? Now, if you want to register your land title, well, I don't work in Alausa, but we've done some, okay? And I can tell you some of the documents that were submitted. The first document that you need to submit if you want to get your title registered is your registered survey, and you need to also present a contract of sale between you and the developer, and of course a deed of assignment that is thoroughly signed by both parties. Then also you would also be requested to show some records of your taxes and the likes. That's why a lot of people, another reason basically why a lot of people run away from registering their title with government is due to the fact that many people have told me, I've had, conversation with some set of investors who have said that one of the reasons why they don't, register their deed is that they consider it to be very, very expensive. And the question I've asked basically is that you are spending, like for instance, now I know someone, a friend, a very good friend of mine, who took a client to buy a property, and of course I was opportuned, okay, to meet this particular investor. I think the house was around Chevron, a 4-bedroom fully detached for close to 500 million, and the person that sold has a governor's consent on that property. And I said, congratulations, ma. We're happy, we're excited that she finally, of course, was a lady. And I indirectly asked the woman that, how soon do you intend to register your deed of assignment? And she said, what do you mean by registering your deed of assignment? I explained the entire process to her, and she said, but there's an existing governor's consent on this property, and the realtor that sold to me said I don't need to do any further, that the person that sold, okay, have done all the necessary registration. Now, the mistake investors make when they are buying properties in Lagos is, I would say it is unpardonable, okay, for you to spend hundreds of millions on a property. You're buying a house of 500 million, you're buying a house of 250 million, 80 million, 100 million, 150 million, and it becomes, extremely difficult for you to get it registered with just, maybe they will register the deed between 2.5 to 3 million. I think that was the last amount that was paid for some of my investors who registered their deed. That was not this. It was not in this 2025. It was early 2024, around March, April. Okay, I knew someone that got a governor's consent registered. Now, a lot of people have asked him, so how much do they charge? Now, the first thing you need to understand is that for you to get your deed signed, okay, what they do basically is that deed of assignment is signed based on the expanse of the land. Like for instance, I've seen, that's why sometimes you would not see a real estate developer in Lagos that has a good title document on the property and will sell anyhow. That obviously is impossible. That's just one of the things I want you to understand. There is no real estate developer who has C of O, who knows that with the C of O, in less than a few months, you get a governor's consent, or a developer that has a governor's consent, a government allocation title on his property, and they will sell anyhow. They will definitely not sell anyhow, because they know that the title on those property have, in one way or the other, protect, okay, the property from government invasion, government problems, and the likes. So I'm also going to be talking about approvals, building approvals. Okay, I'm also going to be talking about that, but that will be towards the concluding part of this video. Okay, that will be towards the concluding part of this video, and I'll be talking about some of the things I know about building approvals and what you need to do, okay, as you are going forward. So the first thing, so you need to understand that it makes no sense if you spend hundreds of millions to a house, or you're buying a property for 50 million and you can't sacrifice 2.5, 3 million to get your deed registered with government. To me, it's not a wise investment, because you see, One of the reasons why I always emphasize on you registering the title basically is that I've seen instances, okay, of government having to take some properties. Like maybe for instance, they are doing a bridge, they are doing a road, or they are doing, let's say, drainages and the likes. In a situation whereby that land has to go or that property has to go, and you are due for compensation. I'm explaining one of the reasons why it is very important. I'm not saying the land you have bought or the property you have bought, government will take over it. No, but we've seen instances whereby there's a road expansion and government have to take some portion of land for them to do it, or they've been there's a drainage system, there's an issue of flooding, and government needs to create an alignment for drainages and the likes, okay? And maybe some of the properties you have bought is affected. And because of the fact that government gave you a title on the property, like for instance now, I've had a lot of people ask, questions, okay? A lot of people have asked me, I've asked questions that if government take my properties, will they compensate me? Now, if government has given you a title, you have a C of O on the land, you have a governor's consent on the land, okay, and government has given you maybe gazette on the land, and something has happened, maybe some situations that no one foresaw, and that land has to go. According to the Land Use Act, government is compelled, okay, to compensate you. They may not give you that exact location, but they will give you somewhere else to compensate you. Now, this is how the compensation policies work in the Lagos State Land Bureau. Now, that was one of the reasons why I said that if you are buying properties, register your deed. It doesn't cost much to get this thing done, okay? Register your deed. It may take a while, but the moment you have filed it and is in, it's yours forever, regardless of whether the title is in your name or not. Once your deed is registered. Now, what happens in the case of compensation is that, let's say government takes 1 acre or 2 acres or 3 acres for road construction, maybe for drainage and the likes. Now, what government will do is that they will go back to their record, okay? They'll go back to their record and check the persons who are the actual owner. And how do they know? They know it by the title they have given. That's why I said that when it comes to compensation, government only recognizes persons whose names are on the title, so they can check it as, okay, this particular land that we are taking for this drainage, we gave it under the 2004 Gazette to the Arowo Jobis family. Now, government is not aware that the Arowo Jobis have sold to maybe real estate developers or to individuals. The only time government is aware that the Arowo Jobis have sold to this person is the people that bought from the Arowo Jobis are coming back to government to do a consent, notifying government that these people have sold though. So when government is looking at their record, they look at the people whose name are on the title, the Arowo Jobi, and of course they look at the people they have sold to. And how do they know? Is when you register your title with them. So they look at those titles, okay, this person has bought from the Arowo Jobi. So if there is a compensation plan, government will only compensate the persons whose name are on the title and those who have registered. You now see the reason why it is very important that you have to register your title documents in Lagos. And like I said, it doesn't cost much. These are things that we honestly don't pay attention to, okay? Now, at what stage can I register my land title? At what stage? So I've had a lot of people ask me those questions. At what stage? You can register it at any stage. The most important thing basically is that even if it is excision that is on the property, you can still register it. The only thing basically that I know, okay, that may happen is that at every stage of the property title, let's say for instance now, what you have there is just excision, then you will have to, in the process of registering your title, okay, you have to, apply for a government allocation, okay? If the property you bought is excised, you have to apply for a government allocation. That is how you can get your title registered. If it is excision, it is government allocation you apply for, and government allocation is in the process that government can register you as the actual owner. If it is gazette, okay, if it is gazette, you apply for governor's consent. Are we together? If it's gazette, you apply for governor's consent and it will be done. If it is C of O, governor's consent, it will be done. Are you together? Are we together? C of O is governor's consent. If it is governor's consent that is on it, and you still want to register that governor's consent, so you register for another governor's consent. So let me explain the procedures. Excision, though a lot of people are saying you can file for governor's consent. I have not done it. I've not done it. The ones we have done, the ones we have witnessed, the ones that we know is that from excision, you apply for government allocation. When you get to Alausa, they will tell you the important document that you have to do. If it is gazette, you go straight to governor's consent. You apply for governor's consent immediately. If it is gazette, you don't need to blah blah blah. No, you don't need governor's consent. That's why sometimes I always prefer gazetted excision than the normal excision. I think I explained that in one of my, at the commencement of this video. So if you have missed it, you can always go back. Of course, I'm going to post this video so that you can watch at your leisure time. So you process a governor's consent if it is gazette. If it is C of O, still governor's consent. Now, if the property has governor's consent, still governor's consent. So what you just need to do at this stage basically is that just get your title registered. Let government be aware that you have bought from this person. And like I said, it doesn't really cost much. Just get it done and that. So I also said in the, of course, I don't want to spend beyond an hour, and I think I've spent 36 minutes. So I only have just limited time. So I would also be taking questions. You can drop your questions below the comment section, because the reason why I am taking this topic, the reason why I'm explaining some of these things basically is that I've witnessed life-threatening situations on site. I've had experiences whereby Omonile will attack you, and sometimes if you intend to take up the situation legally and perhaps fight it to the full extent of the law, you would also see that at some point you may be disadvantaged if you don't have the required document to prove that you have purchased that property from those space. So let's talk about building approvals. What are those requirements, or what kind of land can I get building approval for? Okay, I got this question on the live section I did last week Tuesday. Sorry I could not respond. Of course, the good thing is that the person that asked that question is also on this live stream. Thank you very much for joining. So I'll quickly be responding to that within the limited time that I have left. Okay, now, on which plot of land, okay, at what stage can I apply for building approval? Now, before you can apply for building approval, the land has to be a titled land. I need to say this here. You cannot say you want to apply for building approval on a land that you only have a registered survey. I need to quickly say that. Is it that the land has excision? I'm going to talk about excision. I'm talking about verified, because there are some places where excision in process, okay, has been paraded as excision, and the situation, we have gotten to the point of applying for applying for building approval before we found out that there was nothing like excision on those plot of land. So if the land has excision, you can apply for for building approval. Okay, the most important thing is that the land must not be under form of any acquisition. It must not be a committed land. It must not be a land that government have intention of doing something on it, on the property, of course, in the future. So the first thing you want to do basically is that you want to make sure that the land is free from acquisition, and of course any land that starts from acquisition, you can get a building approval. So the person stated what are the basic requirements. Of course, your survey, your 3D, of course you have to do a survey on the land, and the land must have your name. Okay, the survey must be in your name. Then you provide the receipt and document of purchase. Of course, you're also going to do what we called, you provide a soil test, okay, of the building you want to erect on it. Then you also provide the mechanical drawings, electrical drawings on the property. These are some of the things you must provide, okay, before an approval is also given. And then your engineers that must provide all these things must be a licensed I said engineer, the architect, okay, sorry, the architect that must provide this thing must be licensed other Lagos states. They have an organization called Akron. I can't remember the full meaning, but whoever is doing your design, whether it's your mechanical design, architectural design, structural design, electrical design, that person must be a registered architect under Lagos State. I think their name is Akron. You can check it out at your own leisure time. So after doing that, you provide your soil test, and of course, you provide your your taxes, and I will say this, that if you are evading tax in Lagos, there is a place whereby government is waiting for you. This obviously is more or less like I always laugh over it, but they will say government is waiting for everybody. So you have to provide some of your taxes and the likes, and a couple of these. Okay, so once the approval is submitted, now a lot of people have been asking that, how long does it take, okay, for the approval to be out? Well, I would say that there are some approvals that I was part of how it was prepared, the document for the approval. And this is actually the fourth month the approval has not been out. That a lot of people have asked what could be the reason for the delay. Ever since Lagos State government said they gave amnesty to people who own houses in Lagos to get their building approval. Ever since that announcement has been made, there've been some lot of delays in getting approvals. But ordinarily, if you have submitted all the right documents that government has requested for, approval should not pass. Work on it, and let's see whether it will be totally resolved. So these are some of the questions that has to do with getting your approvals and the likes. And a lot of people have been asking, are there consequences if I build or if I start erecting structures? The consequences are, I know a developer friend of mine, okay, who has waiting for them to give the approval. First month, he did not see approval. I think in the second month, he got tired of waiting and he started construction. And this is not what they said. Excuse me, sorry. Now, when we come online to share some of these important informations, I've said this before, part of the information we share is a life thing. We were there. So for me, I've said it several times that I have field experience of anything in real estate in Lagos. So for me as a person, I've been to Ibadan to check properties. I've been to Abeokuta. I've not been to Delta State, but I intend to go there soon. So mention the place on the mainland, Ikeja, Surulere, Yaba, I'm there. Mention Mowe, I've also been there. The island, Ibejuleki, Epe. So we don't just say things because we heard. These are practical things that we have witnessed. These are things that we have seen. So it's more or less like having a total understanding of how these things are being done. Sorry for I've been having calls. Sorry for that. So we have a practical knowledge. I'll be rounding up this session soon. And also on Thursday, we're also going to be having another, which is tomorrow. We're going to be having another session where I explain some of these things. Now, the moment you start building without getting all the necessary approvals, government will seal up that site. They will seal it. And this developer friend of mine that started construction, it's not as if this guy did not apply for. He has applied though. He's so confident that he's going to get his approval, because that was actually not the first time he was doing this. That was not actually the second time. When you say it's sure for me that, so he was so certain. So he started construction that anytime they like, let them give the approval. That site, they sealed that site, and he paid 10 million in compensation. 10 million as fine for building without approval. So I don't always advise And for every stage of the construction, people from Lagos State Building Management Control, LAPSCA, will be checking the land, your project at the foundation stage. More importantly, if you are doing a pile foundation, emphasis is always the requirement for getting approval, because there is an approval for every stage of that construction. Number one, at the stage of your pile foundation, they are going to test your pile integrity, they are going to test your slab, they are going to test your casting. Now if you are not building in accordance to these regulations, there will be problem. I'm just saying this, okay? There will be problem, and you certainly don't want to have such problem with them. So if your construction meet up those requirements, you'll be given an approval to go to the next stage. So at every stages of construction, LAPSCA will come to check. People from Lagos State and Material Testing Facility, they also come and check to test the kind of materials you're using, if it is up to standard. So even at the decking, they will still come and check. So at this stage, these are some of the things that government are doing. So I always emphasize that it is not always wise, okay, for you. Make sure you have your approval, you place it in front of your project, so that if LAPSCA come in, okay, they will be aware that you have done that. Because failure to build, okay, and you don't have approval, that my developer friend of mine paid 10 million naira as fine before his site was reopened. So in some cases, yours may be worse, yours may be lesser. So but always it's not always advisable, okay, to build, okay, without getting all your needed approval. I hope that I've answered the question. So this person is asking me a question that of course I'm rounding off. I've been having a lot of calls from our investors. I have a lot of question beeping now on my DM. So obviously I will not be able to attend to so all of these questions. I sincerely apologize, because I have to. This is some minutes past 4. I'm still going back to site. So I just quickly sneaked home to make this live video. Okay, so I will have to sneak out. So of course I also make out time by the special grace of God tomorrow 3:30. We're also going to have this live session where we discuss. So majorly what we'll be doing in 2025 is what we call investors education, explaining what you need to know, the basic parameters, important things you need to know if you're investing in Lagos, things you need to put into consideration, and how to avoid government wahala. So these are some of the things. So I really have to call it a day now, because my people on site have been calling me. I have to quickly rush down there, and apologies, I may not be able to answer to all the questions, but I want to quickly say a very big thank you to everybody that was on this live stream. Thank you very much. Oh, Ayola is just joined. Wow, Ayola is actually coming at the time where I'm rounding off this live session, but I'll be here by the special grace of God tomorrow. Thank you very much, Barrister Joseph, my twally, boss me. I hail you. Thank you very much. Ifeoluwa Abru, thank you for joining. Pastor D, wow, we have Pastor Dyer watching all the way from Port Harcourt. Thank you very much. There are people also on this, like, oh, St. Ados, that's a Mr. Dami. Yes, that's the man from Onyx. Thank you for joining this live session. Mr. Ayola Aziz, thank you very much. Of course, I'll be posting this live session for some of people that must have missed some of the important things I've said. Of course, I'll be making it available on my feed. You can check it out. You can also, watch it at your own leisure time. So I really have to run now. Of course, tomorrow I'll try to clear all my schedule, so I won't have to run back to site again. I have to go because there are some important issues that required my attention. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. God bless you. Tomorrow 3:30, please, let's also talk about some important real estate advice as we are in this 2025 real estate market. Once again, I'm Adejare from King's Court Properties. What we do basically is to get you affordable, reliable, and of course, the best and safest real estate investments here in Lagos and also in other parts of the country. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. God bless you.